So we're here in Pocket Corner to talk about what? I don't know.
Public speaking for artists.
Yes, and why particularly for artists?
Because they're sort of renowned for being slightly reclusive, liking to be in their studio, not particularly wanting to be in front of crowds. That's a list of what I am.
Yes, basically, not wanting to speak in front of too many people. So it was a bit daunting recently when we spoke at Digital Book World in Nashville, Tennessee, to almost 1,000 people.
Yes, so this is how we think we're qualified to
at least give a glimpse into that world.
Advice. Yes.
Exactly. So we're going to give you a top 10 rundown of things that we think you should consider when doing some public speaking, particularly for artists. This is part 1. We're going to do a part 2. So this is going to be the rundown from 10 to 6.
Yes.
So what's at number 10?
Number 10 is choosing content. So
yeah, it seems a bit obvious, really. You've got to have something to talk about, but
well, basically, you know what you're there for. You know what you've been asked there to do. But you need to look at your audience and see what in your realm is actually relevant to them and what they'd be interested to hear about. What's going to catch their attention, basically.
Exactly. And I think particularly when it's your first time, I know there's all these sort of people giving advice about, the sort of dynamic things that you should come up with and grab the audience with the first line and all that sort of thing. But actually, maybe just pick something that you know really well.
Yes.
First time
something you're very comfortable talking about, so you're not going to run dry. You've got enthusiasm, you've got all that energy, and it's not going to be a panic because you know it. You absolutely know it.
Exactly. So at number 9, choosing a title. Well, that's the other bit, isn't it? We actually, for the Nashville one, we had the title initially was chosen, I think.
It was chosen for us, and we kind of went with it. And then we thought, oh no, we'll change that. And we changed it for something more descriptive, which actually was quite dry. So we realised quite early on that this was our advert. There's a lot of people there that didn't know us. So why would they come in and listen to us particularly? So this is your one chance to kind of speak to those people reading the brochure.
They've got one
Why
glance.
would I want to hear from these guys? Exactly. So we sort of changed our title to be a bit more dynamic and exciting.
Yes. We chose Life at the Creative Frontier and the Tools We Use to Get There. So it's sort of a bit of a brash statement to say Life at the Creative Frontier, but
why not?
Why not? Someone's got to sing our praises.
We are, anyway. Yeah. So yeah.
Exactly. So that we thought would sort of grab people's attention.
Yeah.
And make them want to come and see us.
And the tool side of it, something useful there for everyone, hopefully. So I think that was sort of collecting in a few more people.
Yeah, exactly. And I suppose that runs to the subject thing a little bit as well, that talking about some of the tools that you used, that's a very good way of having some subject matter that's useful to the people. And, maybe for your first time round as well, having something like that.
Yeah, so it's relevant to them as well. They think they'll get something that actually could be helpful to them rather than just sort of listening to your story. Interesting though that is, there's something could be of help there.
Exactly.
So 8.
Number 8, selecting your images, of course, for artists. Not much use sort of standing there in front of a blank screen.
Although we have done that. And it was a surprisingly good practice because you actually realise that you have to give this enthusiasm, describe your work but not too much in detail, get people to understand you as a person. It was actually really good practice.
It was,
not ideal.
Not ideal. No, this was a local event, wasn't it? Which looked like a local arts trail, and we were invited to speak.
And I don't think it was working. I think the idea was there would be an image, but it kind of wasn't.
Yeah, they did have they had a screen behind us, but no slides. So it forced people to actually just talk about themselves a little bit more. then they could talk about the artwork, and it's quite revealing.
It was very engaging, actually. I was really impressed by the two people before us as well, and so that, you can learn from, from others directly before you, and give an insight into who you are. That's the key thing. That's people really want to connect, so give them a reason to connect to you.
So when we're selecting images, we weren't just selecting our artwork, were we?
No.
Initially, we found there was a good way of breaking the ice, I suppose, and get people on your side, was to show a slide that maybe reveals something about you a little bit more.
And something we found, we always sort of go back to being amusing, that's kind of one of our things.
Relying on humour, yeah.
The humour, it does relax you a bit, relaxes them, there's less anxiety. And to help you, rather than telling a joke, I'm not very good at that, we had it was a visual joke,
yes.
and it got a laugh, and it was like, oh.
It was basically a little GIF of us, or GIF, or whatever one you want to call it, of us sharing the award that we received there last year.
Yeah, it's in sort of sepia tone or black and white, so it was that kind of feel of us kind of, it was basically almost squabbling, but not, of course.
Yeah. So that got them laughing, and that allowed us to sort of carry on, and then so we kept that sort of amusing theme, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that helps as well for you not to feel too serious and too staid. That can sort of not help the nerves.
Yeah.
But if you keep a little bit of humour in it, and then if you make a bit of a mistake, you can.
It doesn't really matter. Everyone does, and actually, some people like to see that because they realise you're human.
Yeah.
And relate it more to themselves.
Another way we saw images being used really well was when you're trying to describe something a bit more technical, and using diagrams and animations in diagrams, just very simple stuff. But that really helps to sort of reinforce whatever you're talking about.
Yeah.
So that was just my last little point at the end there. Mm-hmm. So, number 7.
Know your timings.
Know your timings.
So practice a lot, but you've been given a time slot, so you know what your timing is, and then practice to, a few minutes less than that. The worst thing is to go over, because it creates anxiety for everyone involved.
It does, the audience included.
Yeah.
Yeah, having to rush.
Exactly, or whatever. But if you're slightly less, that's absolutely fine. You've got questions and answers you can fill, or you can just, I don't know, talk a bit more about your favourites. Walk off. But practice, and the way we practice is we wrote keywords down. That other people do other things, but we had keywords that we could just glance to, and lots of dots between, so it wasn't a block of writing, that we could just sort of look up from, look down, and then find your place.
Yeah, that really helped. Things in bold or whatever. Yeah, writing out all kind of longhand.
A whole sentence.
It's really difficult if you're going to move your eyes away and move back. You're going to have to then find your place again. So keywords like that really helped keep us on pace. And also certain keywords just to make sure that you don't have a brain freeze. Even the ones that you think are obvious. Make sure you write those down, because it's just possible that you might forget them when you're up there on stage. So, okay, so
number 6.
Number 6.
Slideshow software.
Well said. Slideshow software.
I had to concentrate. So this is about the software that you'll be using. Quite often you're actually asked, we will be presenting in PowerPoint. We're actually Mac-based, so we're looking at Keynote. And the main thing about that was we did investigate the PowerPoint, but it's on a subscription. So you can sign up for a trial period, but we decided we could use Keynote because that actually does export
PowerPoint.
to PowerPoint.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was all fine, and that's what we used, except in the end we actually took our own very old laptop.
That's right, yeah.
So we could use that instead. So we had it on a USB stick if that was the case. But we had various ways we could present, and I think that was quite good.
It was, yeah.
But in the end we did use a laptop.
We did use the laptop, and we're glad we did, actually, because although it was out in Nashville, we had to take it with us. that little heavy thing, it meant that we could practice while we were out there.
Yes.
Because we had the laptop and we
Yeah.
knew what the slides were and the arrangement and stuff like
And
that.
we actually did change it a bit, didn't we?
We did change it a little bit later down the line, so that was useful.
that wouldn't have been possible otherwise.
So there you go.
So yeah, that's it for part 1.
Mm-hmm.
Part 2 follows shortly.
Absolutely. Where we cover things such as stagecraft and stage fright.
Yes, both essentials to know about.
Yeah.
And a few other things, technical prep and other stuff.
So be sure to catch that. So thank you very much for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, please subscribe. Click the little bell icon to be notified when we produce more videos. And thank you very much for watching.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.